friends, welcome to Exampur. I hope my voice is audible, screen is visible, everything is set. If this is so, please do let me know so that I can continue with the session. So guys, before going forward, I just want to let you know about the Exampur app, and you just have to go by these 6 steps. You need to get registered, and why you should do so. In order to have various advantages, benefits out of the Exampur app. Now, many of the benefits are available that is for free. You can take the quick look on the slide and you can analyze what kind of benefits you can avail out of the free access. And if you want to go for current affairs and the daily series which has been conducted in various subjects, and if you want to take the access of the test series, and many of the questions, free exam wise PDFs would be available. Plus, you will get to see the exam analysis. And if you want scholarship in order to purchase the batches, if you want more discount, everything is available on the same app. So guys, if I'm just going to talk about on the article on today's parameters, what they all are talking about. Everywhere a kind of scenario has been created which is related to inflation only. Though this factor is totally exogenous in approaches. Exogenous, what do we wear? Where the monetary policy and fiscal policy would not be able to make the control on the targeting as it has been given influence and under the influence due to the exogenous effect. Okay. So inflation is all about, it is a kind of picture, and you can just talk about, we can get a glance. Inflation is not always a kind of negative indicator for the economy. If you have to just understand the word inflation, what do you mean by inflation? In two approaches, in two segments, we can just divide it on the basis of demand and on the basis of supply. It is not always a kind of a positive indicator, like negative indicator. It can be considered as the positive indicator as well if we are talking about the demand segment. Okay, so supply side and demand side, in what ways prices are going up? Prices increase due to demand expansion. Okay, supply down, if you have less resources, you have to somewhere increase the prices. Okay, demand is going up, it is leading to increase in prices. Plus, if you are looking at the less supply, due to that reason, prices are going up. Okay, so two parameters you will get to see, and due to this factor, it is leading the other sector to make investment so that demand could be fulfilled in the economy. And if the investment is going up, if the investment is going up, it is leading to unemployment. It is leading to decline in the unemployment. Okay, unemployment plus expansion in the output. Expansion in the output. Okay, and what kind of influence and impact you get to see in terms of supply side? If you get to see any kind of supply shortage, if you get to see any kind of supply shortage due to increase in cost, that would reduce the level of production. Production would go down, and if the production is going down, it is leading increase in unemployment level. So such kind of inflation, in case of shortage in the supply side, this would play a kind of negative impact in the growth side. Okay, in the growth of the economy. But whenever we do talk about the demand perspective, it can be considered as a positive indicator. Means inflation is not always a kind of negative indicator for the economy. Now we'll move to the article. What kind of scenario has been presented before us? That is priorities, as there are more picture persuades. If we think about the inflation, and looking at the side of demand, which I have just elaborated. Okay, so it is creating the jobs, sustaining the growth, and ensuring the equal distribution of the resources, equitable wealth distribution. And second is all about headline monthly numbers affect the sentiments. What do we mean by it? What do we mean by it? Hello, Soumya. What do we mean by it? Like whatever sentiments we are talking about, what is happening right now? Like in the first paragraph, they are just giving the glance of demand side. They are giving the glance of demand side, which is somewhere positive in approach. Okay, which is somewhere positive in approach. And if we do talk about this side, somewhere it is not at all showing the effect on the household. What I am going to just elaborate it now. What we are trying to say on the other side, what is other side? That is the supply one. That is showing a kind of negative impact and deleterious effect on the spendings of the consumptions. If we do talk about consumption, if we do talk about investment side, because consumption is ultimately the key point which is establishing the base for investment. If you are making more demand, okay, if we are making more demand, that is creating the induced demand for the investment. Okay, getting my point? I am already waiting. Okay, what I am just trying to establish over here, consumption, it is just playing the role for individual basis. See, this is the article, what I have just made you understand regarding the article. This is all about inflation. What this is trying to present here is, inflation is not at all about the positive or negative impact. It is not at all considered as the positive factor always, or not at all can be considered as negative factor for always. Okay, so I am trying to elaborate the pointers over here. We can divide the inflation segment. Okay, we can just divide the inflation segment into two parts, where you can see the positive side and negative side both. Okay, first of all, you are required to divide the segment on the basis of demand and supply. Okay, if you are raising the demand more and more, due to which reason, it is increasing the price level. Okay, the prices has gone up. Why there is increment in the prices? Because you are making more and more demand in the economy. If there would be more and more demand in the economy, it means what? It is raising the level of investment. You are in need to have the excess of more products. Okay, and production has to increase due to having more demand in the market. Obviously, production units has to expand their business. Investment has to increase their pace. So it is leading, like increasing in the demand side, which is increasing the level of investment, and there is more demand in the market. So you are trying to make the expansion in the production side. And what do you mean by production expansion? Means you are trying to involve or employ more and more laborers. Okay, if you are employing more and more laborers, somewhere you are looking at declining in the unemployment side. Okay, somewhere you are looking at the unemployment side, which is increasing the output. If you are increasing the base for the production, it will automatically increase the side of output. Next is all about supply side, which is showing the negative impact. And this would be considered, and this would be similar situation as we are going today. Supply side, what do you mean by supply side? Supply shortage you get to see, due to which reason you are increasing the cost. If you are increasing the cost, which is somewhere discouraging the producers to make expansion, which is declining the production level, and unemployment is rising. If you are not employing your resources, if you are not expanding the base for your production, means unemployment is taking place. So this scenario is already running in the economy. So what we are trying to elaborate in the first paragraph, that if we heard the term inflation for the first time, what kind of clicks we are getting? If we are looking at the demand side, it would be creating jobs, creating the growth perspective, and making the wealth distribution. Why we are looking at the wealth distribution? Obviously, if you are creating more employment base, somewhere distribution is going well. If the distribution is going well, so well equitable well distribution would be there. What about the second paragraph is all about like spell of high inflation. High inflation, you have to correlate this paragraph, what is running in the economy right now. If we are looking at the perspective that household ability, what do you mean by household ability? That is related to the consumption part. And the propensity to spend, the way you are making the expansion in the spending, denting the demand and growth impulses. If you are making more and more demand, obviously it would lead to the growth impulses. It will provide stimulus for the growth. Okay, so may catalyze fresh investment from the industries. This is somewhere making the production encouragement towards having more and more employment basis. Okay, so uneven, what kind of, why this kind of situation is occurring? Why this kind of situation is occurring? Where you are not able to show your impact on the demand side, you are losing the purchasing power capacity of the consumers. If you are increasing the price, definitely somewhere it is losing the pace of your purchasing power in the market. If that is losing, you are declining your demand. If your declining in demand is there, production would be depressed. And this is depressed means growth is not going up. And employment is not taking place. So what other factors are impacting on the price factor? This is the key point, that uneven, as our economy is agrarian based. We are known about the fact that our economy is totally agrarian based. Yes. So if we are so much dependent, approximately 55% of our area are still dependent on the rain-fed region. If we are talking about the rain-fed region, what do we mean by it? Uneven monsoon is being there. What do we mean by it? Could further weaken the rural demand even as worries if you are not earning out of the fluctuation which is there in the weather scenario. So your cultivation has to has to get influenced. Obviously, you will not be able to make earning as you used to earn in the good monsoon. So this is what it is going to reduce the level of your income, which is going to reduce or depress your demand side in the rural economy. About lower sowing paddy and pulses are spurring their prices higher in the recent week. It is not only about we are talking about the paddy. It is not only we are just talking about the pulses. It is also going with the wheat and the rice. We are going to talk in the later section today only. So this kind of uneven monsoon is also making the demand weak and due to the low production in the scenario. So consumer price index, if we are talking about inflation closer to 7% again, because food prices rise, like consumer majority part has to be covered under the CPI, that is food, which is covering the huge portion in the CPI, that is the food proportion. And monetary tool is all about interest rate and cannot tame the inflation. RBI do not be as synchronized with developed world when growth needs to be unfettered. Okay, emphasis we need to what is required right now. As I've started with this session, I've just explained the point that inflation is occurring due to 2 points. That is coming from the exogenous effect. Exogenous effects coming from the international side, which is uncontrollable in nature. Neither fiscal country have a control on the international side, nor monetary policy do have. Okay, so if we are talking about developing countries, they are getting more concerned about the food crisis, which is running in the international scenario. And if we are talking about the developed economy, which are getting more concerned about the energy crisis. Both are leading to the inflationary pace. And if we have to moreover stabilize the base in the domestic region, we need to make the coordination, better logistic, including the better logistic policy moves, and we have to correlate the things which is fiscal based. Obviously, we cannot control the international scenario, but we have a control on our trade policy and which is establishing the base for the fiscal one. Obviously, okay, fiscal policy can have a control on that aspect. So higher inflation in some states which are fail to cut the petrol, or you are already aware about the fact that the petroleum price has to be controlled by the international market. Middle East countries, they do supply on the very basic reason. So in the ultimately, what we are trying to make the move, if you have to make the stability in the inflation basis, you just try to make the coordination coordinated policies between central and state terms. If you are controlling it, it can establish the base. It can again get reactivated. Future policy reaction could become quicker if you are taking the things in collaboration. So in whatever level you have extend, you can make the control on those policies that is to the level that future policy reactions are quicker and more sure-footed and cohesive. If you are taking the things simultaneously, if you are taking the things in a very collaborative manner. So in the initial, what we are talking about, what are this article is talking about. First of all, he has explained about, article is explaining about the two facts, demand and supply. Both the things we have explained. In the positive sense, when we heard this term inflation, what kind of clicks coming into our mind? That is related to the expansion in employment-based production, increasing the level of making the efficient level of distribution in the resources, which are positive in nature. If you are looking at this side, food crisis is there, energy crisis is there, that is making the higher cost. And out of that higher cost productions, like producers are getting discouraged to make more investment. If they are not making investment, so unemployment you will get to see what is currently running in the state. Okay, so this is the situation there is in the picture. Second situation, what is all about? Uneven monsoon. Uneven monsoon you have seen in the picture. Third is all about, you have to just make the diversion between developing countries and developed one. Both the things, food crisis and energy crisis is there. Okay? Clear? Which sir? कौन से सर की बात कर रहे हो आप? ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज एंड डेवलप कंट्रीज की you have to do talk about. Developing countries are getting shortages out of the food crisis they are facing. Developed countries are facing the energy crisis. Okay, so such kind of scenario you have you got to see. Conclusion would be like, inflation is occurring due to the exogenous factor. Inflation is there due to the exogenous factor, but somewhere coordination of center and state could work effectively. Okay. So this was the article, and this is totally relevant to the HDI 2021, and direction important for prelim and mains. If it would be asked with respect to the growth and development perspective, you should be aware about the fact that India ranks how much in the countries in case of Human Development Index. and after registering a decline in the strong over 2 consecutive years for the first time. Okay, in these 2 years, it has declined its rank. It used to be on 129 and 130 rank. Now it is again declined to 132. Primary reasons for decline. It is, if we want to make the critical analysis of these 3 points, we are going to make it. First of all, I just want to let you know that what are the primary concerns we have to write. That is the COVID situation, COVID-19 situation, and the Ukraine war we are just talking about, and the environmental challenges, which is the international and this is global issues, not only concentrate to our country only. You need to make this point clear that whatever primary reason we are putting forward, these are the global issues. These are the global issues. These are not at all considerate to our country and specific to our country. If this rank has to go down, it would be valid for all the countries, right? COVID encountered by every single countries globally. Ukraine and Russian crisis were going on, and environmental change challenges is that is for all countries. Why we are just talking about and making a concern for our own country only. So middle human development category scores places it in medium level. We are talking about HDI index. Okay, we are just talking about the medium HDI index. And how much scores we have attained, that is 0.645. This is the score of India. And I am just going to elaborate the consequences. What is running in the economy if we have to make the comparison with the growth aspect. Okay, before going through those aspects, I just want to let you know about the inequalities point. Inequality in achievement between the women and men. 3 dimensions are there, and you have to just deal with the gender gap ratio we have already studied. This is relevant to the reproductive health and the empowerment coming from the power. Financial participation also do play the role into this, and the labor market, demand and supply. India, it has shown a slight improvement in the inequality index value compared to the 2020 index of 0.490, okay, to 0.493 in 2021. So this inequality ratio has also been declined. Like score has improved, and what kind of scenario is there in other cases, you have to just make the surety in that case. So inequality ratio we are making concern about, and the life expectancy. This is the first indicator which is making the step establishing the base for HDI. That is 2/3 of countries record further reduction in life expectancy. Okay, 2/3 of the country record further reduction in the life expectancy at birth. Okay, and birth in India, like life expectancy at birth in India, it has gone down from 69.7 to 67. 2/3, if 2/3 country might have faced, so it can be valid situation for India. We can just talk about. If we have to make the we want a kind of defending point if we are going down at that time, and if we are going up, we do not require any kind of such points. So what we are just talking about, if 2/3 countries are going down, we are allowed to do so. Okay, this is not the picturized condition for the same. Life expectancy, this is all about, and report of worsening mental distress since COVID-19, the factor that can impede the human development. If we are just talking about worsening the mental health, worsening the mental distress which was there at the time of COVID-19, which has disrupted the productivity of human development, you can just talk about. And next point is all about issues highlighted in the reports. 4 pointers are there. Containment measures, lack of coordinated global leadership, and the emergency funding took too long to materialize, and large holes in social protection system. Okay, so too slow contamination, Second is all about coordinated, like leadership roles should be in a very collaborative way, and funding should be provided in order to cure their health, and social protection means social security should be given. Composite factor, what all are the composite factor? It is considered as the third goal 3 of sustainable development, which is health. Which is health. Second is what? Hunger. And first is what? Poverty. It is building somewhere the productivity and capacity of human. Expected year of schooling, that is the education, which is creating the awareness. Mean year of schooling, both are denoting, like this is divided. Hello Akash. This, like, education is divided into two segments. First is for enrollment. Second is for the average year you have studied in the like school. Growth national income, per capita income, that is the SDG. How much earning? That is just okay. If you are new, I hope you would add in your education or knowledge. SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, it is establishing the base for the inclusiveness in the population. Getting my point? Means HDI, it is made up from the three things. First is all about education, second is all about health, and third is all about per capita, purchasing power. PPP you can make the establishment of, or the per capita. Per capita is trying to include all the population into the scenario. If we are making the inclusivity of more people into it, it is considered as a positive signal. Okay? So education is somewhere a source for spreading the awareness. This is meant for awareness. Okay? Health is just to make the surety about the productivity of human capital. It is raising the capacity. If you are more healthy, you would be in a condition to study more. You would be in condition to work more. You would be in condition to contribute more. And per capita income, it is making the inclusivity of more and more people. So this is the graph you are looking at right now. In 2021, in the last 2 years, this graph has gone down. You can just see the picture. Or graph is down, like we were comparing with the UK with the figure of 0.645 in 2020. Now it has declined to 0.633 in 2021. According to this UNDP latest report, you can just analyze the graph. It is continuously making a rise. In the last 2 years, it has gone down. Okay? So this is what we are trying to read. And this rank has also declined from 131 to 132. Okay? So what we are just trying to talk about here, on the first perspective, we are just talking about we are on number 5th in growth phase. In growth phase, we are on number 5th. What do we mean by number 5th? After what countries? If we are making the comparison on the basis of income growth only. Okay? If economic growth only, on the basis of growth perspective, if we are making comparison, then only 4 countries are behind us. That is US, China, Japan, then the Germany. And we have surpassed UK. And if we are making comparison with this country, in case of HDI, it is near to 0.93, and where India is standing right now, in 2020, it was on 0.65, 645, and in 2021, It was 0.633. Okay. This is the indicator we are establishing for HDI. This is the developmental clue and this is the growth clue. And this is going to make the stability and sustainability in the economic region. On one side, we are just continuously making a talk related to growth perspective. Now, we have to make the establishment for development basis. This is the real concern for our country. Because if we are getting more developed, it will automatically lead to growth in our country. That's too on the sustainable basis. Okay, this would be a real prosperous indicator for our segment. If we are making comparison with respect to the countries on behalf of developmental indicator, not on behalf of income, which is not at all including the people into the segment. Okay. So next point, if we do talk about the per capita income, we are having approximately per capita income, we are on 11122 rank. Okay. Or we can just expect to reach below 50. We can just make the expectation to reach below 50. Okay. Okay. Necessary is to get graduated. Okay, Shravan. The moment you are done with the graduation, you would be able to do. Okay. So per capita income is there, and other factor health indicator we can make the talk on. So these should be the real indicator. We should expect to reach it. And what we are expecting to reach in the first, like in the development status, our expectation is to achieve the developed status within the 2025. Like 25 years we want to take and expecting to reach it on the status of developed status. Okay, we would require to have 8 to 9% growth in our country in order to have the status of developed one. So this is what we are just talking about. Policy balance. What do we mean by policy balance? Higher the trade, it is definitely going to lead. It is leading to the fiscal deficit. If there is deficit in trade side, it is increasing the expenses. In the trade deficit, it is ultimately leading to the increase in deficit one. That creates the risk. The more we are making the expansion in it, and the more expansion we are creating in the risk factor. So recent data show the India's export declined and have also reported a shift in the demand for low value products. India's report are increasing. India's import are increasing. Why is it so? Low exports. What is the need of our Indian economy? That is to expand the base for exports so that inflow could enter in our country. What is the requirement in order to decline the deficit? What is the required situation for our country just to expand the base, just to increase the export? But what is the real state? It is declining in the pace due to global economy is slowing. It is not at all only for India, we would say. Higher energy prices, which is declining the base for the production. We are not able to make increase in our production or increase the supply. Higher the interest rate, tighten the monetary policy somewhere, which is declining the investment. Both the things are making contribution towards the shortage of supply side. Okay, shortage of the supply side. This is the main reason why we are exporting less. Okay, this is becoming detrimental for the economic growth as well. Okay, so again this is leading to the what? Depreciation in the economy. The moment we are making the inclusion of central banks, it means it has to be make a shift from depreciation to devaluation. It would be considered as devaluation. Next point is all about reason for high import bill. What are the reason for high import bill? First of all, it is making the import expensive. Import expensive, whatsoever it be. whatsoever it be. It is making the import expensive. Why is it so? Because dollars are becoming dearer in comparison to the last years. And we have already talked about it, that in the year of 1991 it was only 8 rupee per dollar. Now it has become 10 times more. Hello? Okay, growing economy pushing the demand for foreign goods. Why is it so? As we have already explained that supply side is going lower and it is increasing the demand for the foreign goods, means we are trying to make more and more import. If we are making more and more import, it has to become higher in bills. Obviously, if we are purchasing more, it is going to add in your bill. Obviously. Okay. Import is all about current account deficit. Compared to 1.2 in last year, it has become 4%. Okay. If this 4% is there, what do we mean by 4%? That this 4% is extra. Extra in the sense, we have to make payment. We have to make payment to the other country. Means capital outflow is there, which is again reducing the value of your rupee. Higher risk you get to see. Higher fiscal deficit along with CAD are always a risk for macro stability. More difficult it would be. So India banned the broken rice export. This is all about. And what you need to think about, like we are making lots of export. What we have already talked about, that we have to read the previous article related to what rice we are talking about, and we are number 1 in terms of exporter of the rice. We are exporting on number 1 position. Okay. Second is all about what is the reason behind it. This is all about ongoing Kharif season and increase in the rice prices. This is deteriorating the demand side for our export, making the less competitive in nature. And India's export, you can just imagine, we are on number 2 in terms of production. We are on number 2 in terms of production if we do talk about of our country, but we are exporting on number 1 to the entire world. If we are talking about entire world, means we are exporting the rice to moreover to 150 countries. Okay, to 150 countries, it makes a huge difference for 150 countries. And why we have become less competitive in it? We have increased the prices for the rice. Why? What could be the reason behind it? That you have already studied from the last articles, that production has gotten distracted out of the uneven monsoons. Uneven monsoons, and you get to see the hike in the transportation prices due to the energy crisis. Everything is added to each other's price. If there is increase in the prices, there would be less demand. Okay. So this is the point. What all we have just talked about from the very starting. In the first article, we have studied about the inflation. In the first article, we have studied about the inflation. Inflation have a kind of 2 sides. We have talked about demand and supply. This is the positive side. If you are increasing the investment level, production level, definitely it is going to make expansion in the production. If you are making expansion in the production, you are creating employment. If there would be more employment, more income would be there. So this is the positive side. And this would be considered as negative side. Why is it so? Supply is going down. If supply is going down, you are not at all making increment in the production side. You are not making investment. If you are not making investment, means unemployment would be there. Okay. You are not required to have more laborers. Unemployment would be there. If there would be unemployment, this would be considered as the negative side. This is what has been talked in the article, and what is required in order to control the inflation right now. What is required in order to control the inflation right now? That is inflation has been caused by the exogenous effect. We cannot have a control on international level. Okay, where we can have the control, that is on our policies. And due to the exogenous effect, if we are making moreover collaboration between the state policies and the central policies, we can have a grip. Okay, somewhere coordination could work effectively in order to control the inflation, which is need of our. Okay, so HDI is there. HDI and rank 132 out of 191. What we have achieved. Primary reason would be COVID, Ukraine, environmental challenges, which is happening with entire country. And gender inequality, this is again the reason of a sustainable development goal. Okay, target of sustainable development goal, we have declined in this. Life expectancy rate has gone down from 69 to 67. And these are the highlighted in the reports that global, like there is coordination in the global leadership role and social protection and all. HDI was running so bad in it. What all are included in the HDI, that is education, health and per capita income. Next is all about, this is the graph which is showing the declining trend. Next, this is the real picture. We are running a fifth in terms of growth. And this is our developmental data if we are taking the HDI status and per capita status. Next is all about if we do have the trade deficit in our country, it is leading to the fiscal deficit. If this is leading to increase in the fiscal deficit, imports are rising. Okay, low exports would be there and the import bill is continuously making addition, and ban would be there in the rice export. And you can just download the Exampur app in order to have the benefits out of this app. These are the benefits available for free. Okay, thank you so much. And if you have any doubt, you can just let me know in the comment box in the live chat. Okay, Rajan, if you are a new student, and if you have any recommendations and queries related to the subject, whatever problem is associated with the economics, you can just ask in the group. Good afternoon, KK. Like I have started like my classes going from 9 to 10 for the economic static portion. Okay, I have started with the syllabus. What all are the static portion, so that you would not have any problem in examination, whether it be about prelim or the mains. If you have any doubt related to economic subject, you can just ask in the live chat or in group. Whatever problem is associated with it, you can just raise the doubts. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day to all of you.